Alright, so we're gonna get started. We're talking about art. Or Rex can finish talking. What's up, Rex? What's up? Alright. Sorry, I can't see.
That was my Anakin Skywalker impression. I'm happy. I'm sad. I'm in love.
That sounds more like Nicolas Cage, man.
Jesus, aren't you Darth Vader yet?
Okay, so
alright, here we go.
Introductions. Hi, my name is Jessica. I do a decent amount of the artwork in your program book and IC on Science.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi. I'm stationed in Dealer's Hall because I'm a big baby and I need a big table. So they put me there away from all the other artists, so I'm normally busy by my stuff.
It's okay. She doesn't have to get art for us.
No.
I'm actually thinking of moving to Dealer's Hall.
Okay.
We're Ben Juwono.
Yeah.
I'm Ben. I'm Juwono. We're Asian.
And we draw awesome One Piece art.
Your turn.
Hi, I'm Scuttlebutt. Scuttlebutt for short. I need a lot of fan badges. If you guys need any fan badges, any artwork, custom artwork, you can come to my table.
Oh, we also do we still do a comic? Are we still producing a comic? I don't remember. It's called We're All in This Together.
Or Wait for short.
Wait.
The
Yes.
art is adorable. It's all about my experiences in college.
Let's start to help people and not talk about stuff.
No, you need to tell them about your comic also.
It's on hiatus.
Sad.
You suck at this game. You are supposed to tell them about our comic because we are you and you are us. Do you even know that we have
Children.
I'm not drunk enough for this.
Here, I'll fix it now.
Alright.
I was starting to get
Enough confusion.
He has a comic called We're All in This Together. We have a comic called Maho Shonen Fight.
Their comic is awesome. If you guys think of Sailor Moon, where all the characters are guys instead, and they're all dumb.
And there's lots of little ghosty things.
It's hard to explain.
Yep.
Yeah, We have postcards if you guys want postcards.
At the end of the panel, you guys can have a postcard.
Okay, I'll pass it around.
What was I thinking? No, I was thinking, oh my god, a panel. I've never run a panel, by the way. I've never even been to a panel, so I
guys want to pass
make
this down?
things weird.
Oh,
Sorry.
you want to pass that? Sorry.
No, it makes things very difficult for you, just so you get this experience. First things first. A lot of the questions that I get is, or I guess a lot of us will get that, anyone who's in Artist Alley tends to come across people who say, do you think I'm ready for Artist Alley? So, usually they like start showing you their work or just start asking, am I ready in general? And then they want you to evaluate their work and like, you can't really do that. There's a lot more to it. I'd like you to go on with your scouting thing first.
Okay, all right. How many of you here have sold an Artist Alley before? Raise your hand high, be proud.
I've done.
Yeah. Any Artist Alley. Okay. How many of you have never been? So I'm assuming. Oh, okay, never mind. The rest of you have never been. Like I said,
You can't do basic math!
The rum party hasn't even started yet. I don't even drink.
I love you.
How about how many of you are interested in doing Artist Alley? I see a lot more hands.
There you
All right.
go. There you go.
All right. Okay. How many of you are thinking of doing art, like seriously doing art? Okay. If those of you who are seriously doing art, just a little caveat for me. I wouldn't go personally. I wouldn't go to the Artist Alley and ask, oh, is this good enough? So am I good enough to go to the Artist Alley? Because what determines whether or not you're good enough is yourself. If you don't have any confidence in selling your stuff, no one's gonna buy your stuff. So
also, some artists will say no because they don't want the competition.
yeah, exactly.
It's not really. I don't say that at all.
Also, the way you think about it is this: a lot of the people in the Artist Alley, like myself, like us, we're not professional artists. We don't work for the industry, right?
Yeah,
Right? We're just doing this for fun. This is our hobby. So in a way, we're not really qualified to judge you guys. Okay? So the first idea is that if you want to sell at the Artist Alley, just look at your stuff and be like, this is good enough. I'm gonna put this out there and see if anyone buys. If no one buys, then I'm gonna see why no one buys. Let me see why people don't buy, and then I'll try to fix it next year. the one thing that you have to realize is that going to the artist alley, it's not the kind of thing where you go to one artist alley and then boom, suddenly you're big, suddenly you make profit. I've been doing this since 2007. First time I went to artist alley, it's at Anime Expo, so it's big, it's expensive. I made hell of competition. I made $210 first time. Didn't even break even. Didn't even pay for my dinner or my hotel. But you keep going. You keep stacking up stuff over the years. So now this is 2011. I have more stuff than I can actually put up. 2012.
Yeah, this is the year of the apocalypse.
Yeah, that's true. That's probably why I don't want to remember it. But yeah, don't get the. I guess the bottom line here is that you should not get discouraged if you don't do well in your first artist alley. So those of you who have been to an artist alley once and maybe like you feel like, oh, no one's stopping by, no one's even saying hi, no one's buying my stuff, I'm not making any money, I'm gonna give up. You don't succeed in the first try. It's called trials and errors because you start with errors, right?
A lot of them.
You're gonna get a lot of errors before you get something, you get a success. So what I want to talk about in the beginning is this. What I usually do with cons when I sell stuff is that you scout. If you already have an artist alley table, even better. You can scout and you can sit down. Usually just go to a con, just be an attendee. Just walk around the artist alley. Look at how artists present their stuff. Look at why their table. You can steal their ideas. It's okay. As long as you don't copy it exactly, no one's gonna blame you for it. For example, let me tell you what I noticed at Anime Expo. At Anime Expo, there's a lot of artists sell stickers, right? Stickers, buttons. At Anime Expo, there's this one artist named Kayan. I don't know if you guys notice. Don't know the name. She's really big on stickers. Her table is all stickers. The problem with selling all stickers is that you can't put up an overhead display. And if you don't put up an overhead display, your table doesn't get noticed. So that's another thing. If you're selling prints, you need overhead displays. Otherwise, no one's gonna notice your table. Because when people walk around the artist alley, what they do? They go like this. They're looking up at the stuff on top. They don't look at the stuff on the bottom.
A lot of times people are too nervous to approach you at first, so they're gonna want to kind of stay in the middle of the row, kind of look and see if anything catches their eye, and if all your stuff's down on the table, they're not even gonna see it.
And if you're really popular, there'd be a huge crowd and you can't even see past that.
Yeah, you need to have something above people, so even when people are blocking your table, that's something that people still see.
So if you don't have that popularity, which I don't have that popularity,
I think you do.
I think you do too.
You do in my heart.
Well, if you don't have that popularity, what you can do is that you can try to stand out. This artist that I was talking about, all her stuff are stickers, and usually if someone comes to me and asks, oh, I'm just gonna sell stickers at Artist Alley, do you recommend that? I would say no, in a heartbeat. Because no one's gonna see your stuff. At least have some prints. Show people that you can draw up there, so people can see. But the way she sets up her table is very nice. She has stacks of, it's like tiered blocks that actually goes pretty high up. Everything's decorated, everything's green, decorations, there are drawers everywhere, so people naturally get attracted. Because they pass by the table and there's this table that just looks very nicely decorated. Right? So that's one way to get attention. You can decorate a table. At PMX a few years back, I saw a table with leaves decorations. There's like leaves everywhere.
Oh, I know that guy.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know him, but
right.
I know
You've seen that before, right?
Yeah.
And in a way, like even from distance, you look at it and you're like, oh, leaves. I'm gonna check that out. I like leaves.
On the fact that you instantly were like, oh, I recognize that table.
Yeah.
That says something.
There you go.
Yeah, because what people tend to think, if you have a really good setup, they automatically think, oh, this person knows how to set stuff up. They probably know what they're doing as well with their skills. So they're going to have something that I want to look at if just their display is bringing me in.
The idea is that even though we're all here, I would consider us all here to be amateur artists. If you present yourself as professional, people will go to you.
Yeah.
And then they'll mistake
It's
you
all
for a
about
dealer.
presentation. It's all about presentation. Yeah.
I've seen some people use music, I think at Anime Expo, and there was a violinist at Artist Alley. How do you guys feel about that?
I personally,
I think it's cheating.
I personally don't get. This is probably just me, but I personally don't like to use anything that's too. I feel obnoxious, if the music is nice, sure, but if the violin keeps playing for 7 hours in the artist alley, I would get really, really annoyed. The thing is, you also don't want to, you don't want the artists around you to get pissed off with you either. So there's boundaries.
Most artist alleys don't allow music.
Most artist alleys don't allow music as well.
It's very loud to be heard outside your table.
I've seen some in some artist alley they actually have a small TV because they have power outlet, and what they do is that they show anime the whole time without sound because they don't allow sound. But people will stop by and they'll watch, and sometimes they'll buy. So the idea is that do whatever you can to attract people to come to your table. That's the point. And you can learn a lot of this just by scouting. If you want to go, if you've never sold before, you want to sell at AX, for example, the most difficult con to break into. Well, go to AX, look around, look what people do, and try to do what they do. Try to look like you've been selling for years. Have a lot of stuff. Don't have an overhead display and have one print on it. And 3 postcards or something like that. Have a lot of stuff. The more stuff you have, the more chance of someone buying. Because what I noticed is that a lot of in artist alley, when people go to the artist alley to buy something, they usually don't look at, oh, this art has really nice composition, really nice colors. What they look at is that, oh, I love this character. I'm gonna buy it. People have come to me and asked, oh, do you have this really obscure character from One Piece? And I would say, no, I don't. And that's a big loss, because if I had made even just one print of that character, I could sell it for $2 or $3. And that's the money.
That is, and then you spend the rest of your life chasing after individual customers. No, wait, I'll draw it for you.
And if you keep doing that, if you keep just make characters, a lot of characters, because someone will be like, you're gonna end up like them. You're gonna have a bunch.
Keep up with what's popular. It depends on whether you want to make money or whether you want to have fun. Like, some people just draw what they want to draw, and some people keep up with what's popular so that you can keep your skill. Well, if that's what you want to do, and
and also sometimes staying old school, you get a whole different chunk of
we tend to have a really, really wide variety. We've been doing this for about 10 years, and we do Artist Alley full Jesus, and we do about 40 conventions a year.
They're popular.
Are that many?
There are that many, from Hawaii to New York.
Somebody can currently travel.
Yeah. Usually she stays home and I travel.
It's not like pricing yourself, but you can just
What's something that can be covered by scouting? When you go around, look at what people are offering, what kind of stuff they're offering, the quality of what they're offering, be it like what exactly they're drawing, or the quality of the paper that's being printed on. Because like I can print on computer paper, I would sell that for $1. If I printed on this, I would not this, but like something a lot more durable, then that would be like $5 or $10.
You wanna examine the cost of your product and how much you're expecting to make out of it, how much you're expecting to spend on the convention. But you also don't want to like undersell yourself too much, because a lot of times people don't want to buy something if it's actually cheaper. Sometimes going a little bit higher price point will help you out. We actually raised our prices for the first time in like 8-9 years recently, and we were really afraid it was going to scare people off, and we actually found we were making more sales. It was very confusing.
It has a lot to do with this idea of if you value yourself and your product, then other people are going to value you too. If you undervalue yourself, and especially, this is something that I tell everyone who wants to do an Artist Alley table. Somebody comes up to your table, do not talk about how much you suck. Seriously, even if you feel that in your head, take the compliment.
It's awkward for everyone. Don't do it.
Yeah. Especially if somebody's like, I really love this. This is great. Don't disagree with them. Because then not only are you insulting yourself, you're insulting them and their taste. Because if they say, hey, I really like this, and you say, no, that sucks, then what does that say about them? They're like, well, then you're saying the things I like suck.
It sounds obvious, but it happens a lot.
Yeah, it happens. Try not to to be self-deprecating. It's not gonna do you any good.
Another really important thing to think about when you're pricing your stuff is you want to come up with a price structure that's going to give your customers a price break if they get more than one thing. Like you want to do, we sell badges and they're $6 each, 2 for $10 or 5 for $20, and maybe 5% of our sales are single badge sales. Everybody wants to get the 2 for $10.
Yeah, everybody loves it.
So, what are the thoughts on, say, selling out? Like,
that's broad.
That's all you do out here.
Because it's
When you guys answer the question, could you repeat the question?
Oh, sure.
Okay. Misunderstanding. I don't mean selling out as in selling out your stuff. I mean selling out as in making stuff that's not necessarily stuff you like, but stuff you think might be popular and might drop. Like I don't care for things that are big bandwagons like Naruto, Pokemon, or whatever. But as an artist selling an artist alley, hoping to make sales, should I possibly consider making something like Naruto or Pokemon too?
Depends on what you're comfortable with. That's all personal feelings. Like if that feels like selling out to you and that makes you feel uncomfortable with yourself, then I don't think you should do that. But if you're comfortable doing that and you're comfortable making money off of those things, then you make that decision to do that.
Let me give an opinion from someone who doesn't really care much about feelings. No, really. Like, I'm an artist. I do art. I teach physics for a living, but I do art on the side. But so maybe I'm not into this whole like artist feeling thing. But when I go to a con, I have a cost. I have this much I spend on food. I have this much I spend on badge and table. I want to at least break even. If I don't break even, there's no point going to that con. So if it requires me selling out, I don't see any problem. I don't see any problem with people only doing stuff that's popular. Problem is that if you're at a small con like this, it's perfectly fine. If you're at a big con like AX, 300 plus artists, at least 298 of them will have those things. So you're competing with 298 people.
So the smaller the con you go to, the better
you do
stuff,
with the popular stuff.
And then the larger the con you go to, the more obscure,
the more
personalized you should try to be.
Yeah,
not necessarily that.
Or not so much that.
Probably not generalizing it that way, but if you feel comfortable competing with 200 other artists on the same picture with this, not the same picture, but on one character. Let's say what's a popular series now? Tiger and Bunny. You guys know Tiger and Bunny, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna make a print of Tiger and Bunny hugging each other, something like that. You go to AX, you're gonna see at least 50 different Tiger and Bunny hugging each other. Okay, if you are certain that your art, your hugging Tiger and Bunny can be much better than the other 50 people, by all means go for it. But if you're not certain, then why not go for something else? For example, here's something that I've always told people, but I've never done it myself. I Shield 21. How many of you know I Shield 21? Almost all the people in the room. No one ever does I Shield 21 art. Why?
Because it's not as popular.
It's pretty popular. People know it, and people sometimes go, "Do you have any I Shield stuff?" Or I would hear people passing by and be like, "I don't see any I Shield stuff here." I've heard people say things like, so that's just one example. Yeah.
I mainly have a question. It's just if you're doing art in any kind of specific audience. Like the fact is, if you're going to present an opinion or a specific view of what you believe, then the fact is that people are going to disagree with your opinion. Why don't you just
people get all up on you. So one of the things I'm most known for is I do gender bends of the Street Fighter men. So I do like sexy pinup versions of them, and it's really popular at Evo. It's really popular in the circles that I'm known in. But I have people come by my table and go, "Oh, that's just wrong. Why do people have to ruin everything?"
Maybe we got you beat. We got a wall of yaoi.
Yeah.
You know what I tell people that come to our table and go, "Oh, why do you have so much yaoi?" I'm like, Because people buy it.
Because people like it and we enjoy money.
The general
It's not
answer.
like it's not like it's the Man-Fae hentai calendar.
No. The general answer to that is this: if you have a certain opinion that you want to express with your art, that's perfectly fine. That is you are an artist. You're supposed to do that with your art. The thing is, you gotta be prepared for people yelling at you, for people making insulting remarks at you, and you
So
have to
you
be
basically
prepared.
have to accept that people aren't going to agree with your own opinion.
Yeah, I like to draw fat, naked, hairy people. If you go,
Air high five.
I've drawn. You guys know Hatsune Miku, right? Vocaloid. I've drawn a really buff man crew posing in that cute pose, and people will stop by my table and like, why would you do something like that? I have no problem with it. I look at
They
them
are
and
very justified in asking that. Are you really offended when people say that?
No, I love it.
And you're like, because it's my art. It's my art.
That's what I like doing. I like making ugly parodies of a lot of things. That's my art because I'm ugly. I'm ugly outside and inside. I love
It gets you noticed, it gets you remembered, they'll tell somebody else, so go,
No. I disagree. You like to make fun of it.
He has a big
I like to make fun of a lot of things. I love making fun of
What's your
Making fun of everything.
Come to the Artist Alley tomorrow.
Somebody wants your man cube. Sorry? He wants your man cube.
You want my manku? I'll see if I have a print of that. My stuff. The thing is this. I like doing those things, and then one time I had one print that it's a full color spread 11 by 17 of 4 Pokemon, but they're not Pokemon. They're fat, hairy men wearing those Pokemon outfits, and they're having lunch together. People look at those. Some of them go, ew. Some of them say, I love it, this is awesome. But hardly anyone ever buys it. So the thing with...
But it gets people to your table.
One is that it gets people to my table. 2, it gets me recognized as the guy who draws horrible things. So in a way you build up reputation even though it's probably not in the right way. But it gets you noticed. And they always, like what they said with Periscope. That's publicity is still publicity.
Well, I will buy one of those. Just to disprove it.
Hell yeah!
Alright, let's get to your question.
Especially if it's like, because next again, it's going to be my second time, and it's my first time being
Or he asked how you know how much inventory you're supposed to bring.
So you're just doing EMT. You should definitely try Fanime. No matter like what your skill level, Fanime is a good market to start with.
The con that you're going to, are you flying or are you driving to it? Sorry, the con that you're going to, are you flying or are you driving?
Driving.
See, when you're driving, it opens it up for you to bring a lot more than you could, and you can be less cautious when you're driving because you don't have to worry about weight or what you're bringing on the plane.
And that's for quantity in particular. I think since you're just getting started, your first step is EM2. So like I would recommend like about 5 of each print because you're new, you're an unknown. People are going to be like they're going to be prices. Not prices. Transactions are going to be spotty. So I'd say like make about 5 to 10 of each. That's what I do whenever I go to any con.
I would say you're better off making more than most because you don't want to get there and be out of stock and lose money.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, say, like, I want to say, like, I'm thinking, like, the different tables, the thing, like,
It really depends on like how popular you think it's going to be. Like one of the main points that I want to get out here is that when you want to go sell in Artist Alley, you need to consider first of all, will people buy my stuff along with am I ready? Because you have to compete with everything in the dealer's hall. You have all the other artists to compete with, and in order to definitely bring in business, you either have to be definitely one of the best, or you have to offer original content, or have a niche. That's something that you know, Ben has his One Piece stuff and ugly stuff. They have their badges and yaoi. I have my doing gender bends like crazy. So like people will start returning to you based on what you can offer, like specifically you, either in your style or your sense of humor, whatever you can offer. Like make sure that you can offer something that nobody else can, or at least is very scarce, like old school stuff. I get a lot of
Mega Man.
Yeah, like Mega Man.
Games are very popular.
There's actually I have a Kid Goku print. People are like, oh my god, Goku, and I've sold out of that one numerous times.
Games are actually a good one because they are popular and people don't do as much game art as they do anime.
Yeah, game art.
The thing about let me digress.
Superhero stuff is selling really well lately too.
I have an answer for you, but let me while we're in the subject, just really quick. You can go for popular anime stuff. The problem with popular anime is that they go up and then they drop like crazy. Italia, 1 year they're so popular, following year boom, it dies. Right? The problem with anime is that once it is popular and then it's gone. The thing about games is that it's everlasting. Look at Zelda. People still love Zelda.
Yeah, but Zelda's like never-ending epic.
Exactly. Even Mega Man. You know, those kinds of things, games last forever. People still play this.
You have an anime's trying to trash you by crossing
If you
Digimon.
quote unquote want to sell out, you can draw whatever, you can draw something you don't like, just what people like. It's probably a better idea to aim for the games than it is for anime, at least in my opinion. I have something for you. The point Jessica made was good. You have to consider all these things before you print your stuff. I have a different opinion on this because I personally don't like to think too much, because if I think too much, then I don't get things done. What I do is that if I want to print something and I'm trying to decide how many I should print, I'm gonna pick a number. Let's say, so I have one print. If I think I can sell about 10 of these, I'm not gonna print 10 of these. If I think I can sell about 10 of these, and each print is gonna be sold for $10, for example. 10 times 10 is what, 100, right? Then I'm gonna take that $100, and I'm gonna take that imaginary $100, and I'm gonna spend it to print as many print of this as I can. Because if I don't sell out, what can I do? I can go to other cons, right? But then again, that only depends. That depends on you. If you're only going to ALA every year, only one con, this is the only con you go to because you have no means of getting anywhere else, then don't do something like that. Then you should probably start thinking about, oh, I think I can only sell 10 of these, so I'm gonna just print 10 of these, because otherwise you're gonna have to wait a year before you can
If
sell
that's
the
the
rest.
case, I would say look at the number you think you can sell and print at least double. Again, you don't want to run out. Generally, your cost on printing is low enough that even if you end up having extras, you're still going to be making more money than that. So
Yeah, the worst thing you can end up doing is selling out by the first day and then having nothing left.
That is worse than actually having leftovers, because I go to 3-4 cons every year. If I don't sell out all my stuff here, I'll just bring it to other cons and hope they'll sell there.
I actually have something to add, and I have done this for the last 3 years, and I keep telling me I will stop doing it, but I keep doing it anyway. Do not bank on Artist Alley to pay for the cost of your con and your hotel room and your money back.
Yeah, absolutely not.
I have made the mistake this year of having just enough to get me here and pay for the first night of the hotel room. I had to borrow from a friend to make the second night. I don't have enough gas to get home.
Yeah, you don't want to get in a situation like that.
Do not do this. Hopefully tomorrow will be okay and I can get back home, but it is a bad idea. I'm kicking myself for doing it. I will internally kick myself for doing it. Don't do it. Make sure you can afford your trip here and your trip back without having to rely on Artist Alley to pay your way home.
It's probably a good idea when you first start selling at a con, any con. It's probably a good idea to expect that you're not going to break even.
you should expect that you're going to lose money,
Yeah.
and then if you make money, it's really cool.
So go to the con thinking, hey, I'm just gonna have fun here. I'm gonna meet other artists. Hopefully they'll be able to share some useful resources with me. And I'm gonna treat this as a vacation kind of thing. Let me give you an example. I went to Anime North one time. It's the biggest con in Canada.
I didn't realize you'd been to Anime.
I've been to Anime North. I went to Anime North in 2008, I think. The cost of the con, the hotel, the plane tickets, and everything was $1,100. So I saved up the entire year to have that $1,100. All the costs are paid. I went to the con one year and I made $700 only. So I was short. I was short by a lot. So I started thinking, I'm not gonna go here again. I'm not making money here. But at that con, I get a lot of people coming, and my stuff, because I only made One Piece stuff, my stuff was unique. No one else had One Piece prints. So I thought, you know what, I'll give it a shot another year. So the following year I went, it cost exactly the same $1,100. That year I made about 2K. So just to show you guys that if you persist with the con, you can bring it up by a lot. Because people who go to one con are usually regulars. They usually come back to the same con over and over and over again. If they see you over and over again, they might eventually become your loyal customer. Aaron here is my loyal customer. He keeps buying my stuff every year. And no, that's also another thing. But I remember, try to have something new every year. I try to produce 2 color spreads every year. It's been 5 years now, so I have at least 10. I don't even have enough space on my overhead display to put up all my stuff.
Or you can be like us and try to have a new badge done for every con and then have 170 of them.
There you go. That's even more productive. Usually the more stuff another thing you have to think about is that you don't want to oversaturate. With them, they have badges. So if you have 170 badge, you can display all of them. All I sell are 11 by 17 prints. They're all this big because in every single one of my prints, there are at least 5 characters. So I'm not going to be able to print them this small. You're not going to be able to see anything. So because I have this just this one type of thing to sell, I can't oversaturate myself. If I have 50 different color spreads, I'm going to have problems selling them. Right?
How many of you are thinking about offering commissions? Offering commissions. So one thing that I want to touch on is commissions. I wanted to get to doing commissions. I know a lot of people ask, how should I price commissions? How should I take commissions? How many commissions should I take? That's something that you want to do a lot of practicing and gauge how much time you spend on each picture, be it just a pencil sketch, just a thing, or a marker color, whatever you're going to offer. And see how much time you spend on each one so you can gauge how many you can actually take throughout the weekend. What I try to do when I do commissions is I make a point to have every commission done by the end of the convention. Otherwise I offer free shipping because I really shouldn't be having any leftovers by the end of the convention. I've never done that, so... People like getting the physical thing, and especially if they can come back at the end of the day or at the end of the con and have their physical thing, they really like that.
I mean, if it happens to take longer than the con.
If you happen to take longer than the con, I recommend having them factor in shipping or offering free shipping. Like I said, I don't like to have leftovers at the con, so I'll offer free shipping because I know it's going to take at least a week or 2 to get to because I have a full-time job, I get lazy, that kind of stuff. So they're going to have to wait a little.
We recently stopped taking commissions in July because we ended up having a backlog of about 1.5 years and people were still ordering, so we said, okay, gotta stop. But you can think about how many commissions that means that we have. And something that we did that helped us out so much is I went into Microsoft Word and I made a table that has your name, your email address, your phone number. This is what you're ordering. Check this box, black and white, 7 to 8.5 by 11. Description of the characters, blah, 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 blah. It's about half a page. I put 2 of them on a page. When somebody wants a commission, I hand them the book. They fill everything out. You've got everything there. And then I also have a little thing on the bottom of it that's like, I've finished this, I've contacted the customer, I've shipped this out, so everything, you can keep track of everything at once, because that's like that's the thing that we really had to learn over time, and we just struggled with, was trying to keep everything organized, and especially
and we'd always
if you
forget to ask one thing, like we'd be like, I have this commission and I didn't get a phone number for them. How am I supposed to get in touch with them?
Yeah, you definitely have to make sure you have a way of contacting the commissioner one way or another, and either make sure they have your email at the very least so they can remember, oh yeah, I commissioned this person, I'll email them. Get their email, get their phone number, get some way of contacting them before you even start. Because sometimes I used to not do this, and I would end up saying, okay, come back in an hour, I'll have your sketch ready. And the entire weekend will pass, they'll never come back, and I'll have wasted my time on a commission that's never going to get picked up, never going to get paid for. So also take payment in advance.
Take payment in advance. Always tell them, I'm sorry, but payment must be up.
And if they absolutely can't, at least take a deposit.
Yeah.
At least be like, okay, I understand you don't have $50 right now. Can you put down a 20?
It is perfectly okay to take the money before you do the commission.
If they never come back, you have their money.
If they are not willing to give you their money in advance, don't take their commission, because they're gonna grift you.
I had so many cases where people just don't come back for their commission, and I'll have this one nicely finished picture that no one wants. So
I've actually resold them. I've put them in my portfolio.
Yeah, we do that
and
too.
resold them.
Or you can do that
too.
Alright, let's go ahead and take it.
More and less work. Basically, kind of pricing out the commissions on
Yeah, as you gain popularity and go from convention to convention, you're going to want to start raising your prices, because when you first start pricing your stuff, you basically want to do a feeler, ask around, see what other artists are pricing their stuff, see what your qualities in comparison, and try to do your pricing based on that. See how much time you spend on a commission. Say you spend 1 hour on a fully inked half-body picture, and so you want to, how much do I want to get paid per hour?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the best.
That's what you want to think.
We made the mistake for a long time of not thinking about our cost per hour, and I realized after a while that in the end I was working for like $1.50 an hour.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is not enough. Nobody should be expected.
You guys should appreciate your own art too, because the people who buy your stuff, most of them are people who can't draw. So whatever you produce is art to them, and art has value. So never undervalue yourself.
Absolutely.
When I was at AX, I think I was bored, so I started taking commissions, and my commission was $5 each. Anything. I'll draw you anything for $5. Yeah, exactly. People would just come and say, oh, $5. Here's $5. Draw me this massive picture with 15 characters on it. I'm like,
Voltron.
well, that's not gonna work. So what I started doing now is that before a con, like a week before a con, what I would do is that I would get a stopwatch, I would sit down, and I would tell myself, I would imagine a commission, let's say, let's pretend someone commissions me to draw Luffy from One Piece. I'm gonna draw Luffy, and I'm gonna time myself how long it takes to draw this Luffy. Full body, inked, finished. Let's say it takes me half an hour. Then I'm gonna say that this piece that I can bring to the con and show it as my commission sample, this piece is worth $10 or something like that. This piece is worth $20 or something like that. So that's your per hour cost. You don't want to end up spending an entire day at a con finishing one commission and they only get paid $10 for it. Because that's just
Oh, good. I think commissions are probably a lot tougher to price though, because to some extent it's a lot more competitive, and I don't think people are quite as picky when it comes to commissioning people as they are buying just like printed art. So, again, you just have to kind of feel it out and see how people respond to you.
I mean, we've changed our commission prices all the time based on, how
demand.
Yeah, what people want.
Ability and demand, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Capability and demand.
they know they're getting original art and they know the value of it. And some
if they don't,
they're getting a darn good deal.
yeah, some
And
cons.
don't let yourself get walked on by a customer either, because there's plenty of people out there who will try and commission you, and you'll tell them what their prices are, and they'll be like, well, that's really expensive. Well, I've got bills to pay.
If they're really nice, haggling is not a problem. There's some people who come by and they go, oh man, I really love your stuff. I only have like $10 to $20. is there something that you could do for cheap? Then you could say like, well, I'll offer you a pencil sketch, 8x6 for $5, whatever you want, stuff like that. Always be willing to haggle, like especially if you're financially dependent. This was something that I actually added to my notes here, is that if you're financially dependent on Artist Alley profits, take what you can get. I mean, if people say, I have $5, what do you do for $5? Say, I'll do this for $5, or say, I will draw you what I want to draw for you, and they'll go, okay. I mean, I've had that a lot of times. Like, people say, I've got $1. What do you do for $1? I'll say, well, I'll do whatever I want for $1. Like, you'll still be getting my artwork, and they'll actually go for that. If they like your stuff enough,
What would you do for a comic con?
She knows you're ready for a contact.
Just remember that it's easier to price your commission high, and if someone says, I don't really have that much money, you can negotiate and make it lower. But if you've set your commission, I'm gonna say full body ink character for $10. If after you finish it, you feel like, man, this is worth more than $10. You can't tell the person when he comes up, like, I'm sorry, this is actually worth $30. You can't do that. You can't do that. But if you charge the person $30 and they're like, I don't really have that much money, you can be, okay, what's your budget? Right? You can negotiate with them. And that also gains your reputation as someone who can negotiate.
Yeah,
and that's always
really
awesome.
like that. Like the price breaks in buying multiple items. Being able to negotiate with people on commissions is also a really big thing. I've got a repeat customer who comes by every single convention he could possibly find me at, and he gets something because I know what his constant budget is, and I know he's a recurring customer. And for the work that I'm doing for him, I know it's not as much as I would want to get, but I know he's going to keep coming back, and he's going to pay me the same amount every time. So that's cool. Recurring customers is a good thing.
Let me add one more thing about prices. This is something that I picked up a few years ago, and I found this really, really useful in getting people to give you money. So let me share you a bit of my secret, and hopefully this will help you too. I sell all my 11x17 prints at $15 each, which is considered high if you compare it to other artists. But
like dealers sell posters too.
Yeah, people come to me and say, at dealers, I can get a bigger one for $10. Why don't you lower your price? And I tell them, well, this is not mass produced merchandise, and it's limited time. 2 years from now.
You can only get it here.
Yeah, exactly. You can't get it anywhere else. The thing is this. I sell all my 11x17s at a high price, $15 each. But if you buy two, that's only $20.
I do that exact same thing. I came by your table earlier and I was like, oh, he's got this.
Because why? If someone sees something for $15 and then they realize that, oh, if I add $5 more, I can get two, they'll give you that 20 in a heartbeat.
They do it. They do it.
They
almost
do it.
every
Trust
single
me.
time.
The nice thing about so in the end, I'm only selling all my stuff for $10 each, which still gives me profit. But this way, I guarantee that every transaction, I get twice the money. The other nice thing is that you never have to deal with change because everyone always has $20 bills. And I never had the need to go to a bank and get change anymore because everyone just goes for 20. Here's another thing. Sometimes you see people like 15 each, 2 for 20. Ooh. But then they're like, yeah, $20. They're still hesitant. What I do is this. I go to Costco and I print 4x6 postcards at Costco. The 4x6 postcard at Costco is only 13 cents each. With tax, 15 cents each. So what I do is I tell them this. If you get 2 of them, I'll add you a free postcard.
And then they go, yes, yes,
And then they go,
yes.
I'm taking it.
My coworker actually did that.
Sorry? Costco 4x6 is like 15 cents each. It's a photo print. Yeah, 15 cents each.
Alright, looks like we're out of time. I just wanted to let everyone know that if you guys have any other questions,
Yeah,
all
All of us are in Artist Alley.
the 3 of us are in Artist Alley. You can come find us.
I'm in
She's
Japan.
dealers all over
It's easy to find us.
But, we're always open for conversation, answering questions.
Definitely.
Please come find us.
Definitely. Yeah.
I'm thinking counter tax and get one more question.
Will this hurt you guys when you say like, oh, I can't do this, I can't draw that color, I can't draw real color? Will that hurt your...
Well, you'll take
If someone comes to you and asks you and commission you to draw something mecha,
or something that you're not comfortable with.
Just say no.
No.
If
You
it's
do
something
what you're
not-
comfortable with.
Yeah, if
That's
it's something you're not
period.
comfortable with, in the sense that, oh, I want you to draw me explicit sex, for example. If you're not comfortable with it, don't do it. But if the thing is this, if you don't have any mecha art because you're not comfortable with drawing mecha, I don't think anyone's gonna come up to you and say, oh, you draw all this really moist stuff, but can you draw me mecha? I don't think anyone's gonna do that.
You'd be surprised.
We actually get people asking for mech from us a lot, and I'm like, do you see any evidence that I can draw mech?
You trying to make mecha yaoi? What is this?
We charge double for men.
That's it. You can do that if
We charge double.
if there's something that you know is going to take you a lot longer because it's a lot harder for you. Charge them more. Say, yeah, I can do that, but it's going to be $20 more than if you just
If you want to.
There you go. That's a very good point.
Sometimes the hassle is not worth the money.
Yeah. I think that's what I did last time. Because someone asked me to draw like the two characters kind of like hugging in. It took me like a very long time.
Yeah.
Sometimes, specifically for the mech, another thing that I've done is that I've said, I'll draw you human versions of
Yeah.
these Transformers
We've
that
done
you
that.
like. And a lot of times people are like, that's cool.
Compromise is good.
Yeah.
Right. And with that, we're out of time.
If you guys have any more questions, feel free to stop by our
Yeah,
tables.
thank you for coming.
They're waiting for couple speed dating. Thanks for coming, everybody. Really appreciate it. Oh, hey, everybody. Since you guys are probably all artists, tomorrow there's an art jam panel, as in everybody can come and draw and doodle, work on commissions afterwards or anything like that from 10 to 12 tomorrow.